What is up, everybody? It is Guy Smiley here, and in this video we are going to be doing a mock review of this police canine mech that I built for the Space Jam contest. It was built over the course of probably a week. I built a lot of entries in a very short period of time for that contest, which is not something that I usually do. But it kind of showed me how much I could build if I'm under pressure and I'm motivated to win a contest. But I think that, well, actually, first off, it uses 657 pieces around there, give or take a couple. Because I built it in LDD, so that's how I know how many pieces it took to build it. So if you guys want the LDD file, the link to download it will be in the description. It's free if you guys just want to download it and build it yourself, or take a closer look at it and see what techniques and stuff that I used to make this, and maybe you can apply some of those techniques to your own builds. But I think that the main feature of this build is the fact that it has 4 deployable police canine drone dogs. Quite a mouthful, but that's what they are. There's 2 on each side, and they kind of are using these old hinges here, the old hinge arms from the very old classic Lego sets from like the 1990s, I would say. They're very old. They don't make these anymore. They're not even in LDD, so you guys won't see this piece in the digital build. The dogs are just going to be kind of on the side, but you guys know how to put this piece there. And they can detach with by just taking them off like that, and then they can run off and chase whoever fled from police. And I wasn't able to actually incorporate any kind of biting mechanism or like head or like biting head on these dogs, but I feel like in the future they're probably past like using actual dogs and biting people. They probably just kind of shoot out some kind of sedative dart and like make them just fall asleep on the spot, or maybe they have like some kind of like shootable taser or something like that. Because if you bite somebody that ran, you know, you got to call the ambulance. You know, there's a bunch of blood and like a big scene. And if you just use like a sedative dart, it's a lot easier if somebody's running from police. But anyways, there's also a detachable munitions case that can come off the back of the mech, just like so. It attaches to a 1x2 plate with one of the rails on the side. You guys will see a picture of a closer up view of that on the screen right now. But inside of this munitions case, there is some weapons for the police to use. I kind of made like a little weapons holder that can be taken out all at once. There is a walkie-talkie and 2 guns there, and then an arrow to show you which way it's supposed to go up. And then also on the inside there is a riot shield for any police officer that needs it for a riot situation. I wasn't able to incorporate this piece onto the mech, which is one of my favorite pieces actually that Lego has made. I think it's just so cool. It's one of the old motorcycle windows from the classic police sets. But these all just kind of fit right inside here. And there's a little panel piece there with a Rebel insignia on the bottom. No need to worry about that sticker because you wouldn't be able to see it from any angle that you would normally look at this mech. So I just kind of left it on there. And there is actually, wow, that's never happened before. It fell all the way, it fell through this little crack here. But yeah, you just kind of put this in there like so. And it just kind of, everything fills in there. And then you can close the door. And there we go. And this piece is actually a little it's got a little life support thing on it, which looks really cool. It's like a bunch of little buttons there too to kind of control. Because I would imagine that this would be hovering above the ground a little bit, and then somebody would be like pushing it along for wherever they needed to take it to place all of the to deploy all the munitions and stuff that are inside. But the reason I used that piece there is on the front, there is actually another pod with the same design, except it has windows on the top. And as you can see there's an alien actually inside there. So this is like an alien prison pod, because I assumed in the future that they would be having some aliens maybe running rampant on Earth after an invasion and stuff. So they would need a prison pod to carry the aliens in after they capture them. And that's why that little life support thing is really cool, because it's kind of like a pod there, and then there's the heartbeat of the alien on that little dial there, little screen on the front of the pod. So I think that looks really cool, and it works out really well for what it is. And that's pretty much all the features of this. Aside from the top, there's actually a a cool parts usage there. I used one of the old fence pieces. As you can see, there's like the cross-hatched pattern. And I kind of meant for it to be like a modular system. So this is like the gun, just a normal machine gun. Maybe they could also load some rubber bullets in it if they ever needed that for a riot situation. But I kind of imagined that they could also put some like a spotlight up there if they needed to, or like a smoke grenade launcher for another riot situation. But yeah, that's kind of what I imagine that spot being. I didn't design any of those other things that they could possibly put there, which I probably should have, because that would have been really cool. But then there's the police lights there. I couldn't really figure out a way to get police lights on this mech, because they didn't look good, like just random blue. Because like I originally attached like a red here and a blue here, and it didn't look right. So I think that's kind of the thing that I was kind of struggling with this build, is kind of maintaining that futuristic police look, but still identifying it as a police mech. So I just put a red light there and a blue light there on the spotlights, which I think would be really cool, because it would be like flashing blue and red spotlights. And maybe they could have some kind of thing where it could change into a white light as well. So I think that works out really nicely. And if we take a look at the figure here, because I did get some questions here about the figure that I displayed with the build in all of the photos on Flickr. The head of this figure is just the same design that I showed in the how to make armors for your Lego minifigures with official Lego parts. And if you guys want to watch that video, it'll be right here. But it's the same head design with the scuba mask there on the neck, and then a mohawk turned backwards to make it look like a really futuristic mask that the police officer is wearing. And then there's a little decal on the gun there to give it some like cool police like branding, I guess. And then there's a Brickforge pouch, some arms here, which I'm not really sure which figure they're from. I'll put it on the screen right now, because they are really cool arms and they work really well for police figures and just army and futuristic figures in general. And the torso is actually a police biker torso turned backwards, because this side looks a lot better, I think, for futuristic stuff, because in the future, everything that is something has big written out letters on it. Like if it's a police officer, it's got to have a big police sign on the front of his shirt there. Just like on the mech, has some big police letters on the front and the back. That was one of the things that I really wanted, that I knew I wanted when I started building this. I knew I had to make decals and put like big police letters on the front and on the back to make it look really cool and futuristic and just like very easily identifiable as a police mech. And they were really hard to make. It took me a couple of times, because the first time I actually didn't make enough, and then the ones that I made like just washed off in the water for some reason, so I had to reprint them, respray them, and then I was finally able to get it to work. But we can take a look at the underside of the head here, because I think it is really cool. This will be the last part of the video. But I think that one of the coolest parts usages that I made for this, that I used for this build, was the cameras here. As a sort of greebling element, I attached them, because the thing with the camera piece is the handle is actually angled. So you have to use these arms here and put them inside headlight bricks, or just 1x1 bricks with a stud on one side. Then you have to turn them so that the camera piece is actually like level and straight. They're not turned. So I think it looks really cool, because it's a different dimension than you're used to seeing with like normal bricks and plates. So it really adds like a different kind of greeble to it, which I think looks really nice. I was thinking about using these for like a gun too. You could make like little square thing and then have these inside use them as guns, which I think would look really cool. I might try to do that sometime. But as you can see here, there's a blue light here and a red light here. That's the only other place where there's like police lights on this build. But the thing is, you couldn't really see it on the photo, because to be able to see trans colors, you really have to have a light on the inside or light from the back in some way. In the LDD build, I did use the red rods, and that looks really cool. I should have switched them out before I made this video, but I couldn't find the only two red 4L rods that I have, so I just kept it as the trans ones here. But if you guys want to build this, you can use different color rods, and like solid color ones would work really well, because you'd be able to actually see the colors of them. And I think that's pretty much it. There's a nice antenna here on the front, which I think looks really cool. Because I don't know, you don't really see normally antennas used on the front like this. They're always on the top, so it adds kind of a different feel to it, I think. And then there's of course your white sensor array there on the front. The circular sensor array kind of matches up with the white ones on the dogs there as well. So that worked out pretty nicely. But I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment down below with your favorite part of this build. What do you guys like the best? What are some things that you guys would like to see done differently, if there's anything like that? And be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video.